All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're looking at a corner of the market that frankly has been in the doghouse for years, but is finally starting to get interesting again: small cap stocks. We're going to look at three specific companies that have some huge catalysts coming up that could seriously set them up for an explosive 2026.
You know, for the longest time, all the money and all the attention went to those giant mega-cap tech stocks. But something's starting to change. You're hearing this buzz from analysts, from traders. Small caps are waking up. There's this growing feeling that the cycle is finally turning back in their favor.
And that's really the big question we're tackling, isn't it? Is the stage being set for these smaller companies to not just do well, but to maybe even blow the rest of the market out of the water? We're going to dig into that by looking at three totally different opportunities, each one riding a powerful, game-changing trend.
Okay, before we jump into the names, I gotta do the quick disclaimer. This is just for educational purposes, all right? We're breaking down some companies with really interesting stories and catalysts, but this is absolutely not financial advice. You've always got to do your own homework.
So what is going on here? Why are people starting to talk about a small cap comeback? Well, it's a few things. Valuations are just more attractive, for one, and it's a simple fact that smaller companies can move and grow way faster than the giants. So let's jump into our first example. All right, company number one. When you think AI, you probably think of the big names building the software, right? But this first opportunity is totally different. It's what you'd call a classic picks and shovels play. They're not mining for the gold, they're selling the gear that makes the whole gold rush possible. And here's the bottleneck. This is the whole opportunity right here. The need for AI computing power is just exploding. It's growing so fast that companies literally cannot build data centers quick enough to keep up. That creates this massive, urgent scramble for all the specialized parts that go into them. Now, what's really wild is the valuation gap, and this slide shows it perfectly. On one side, you have the big AI giants trading at these insane sky-high prices. And on the other, you have this underdog, this picks and shovels company, building the essential guts of the whole thing, but trading at a tiny fraction of that price. It's like a backdoor way into the AI boom.
So what do they actually make? Look, it's not glamorous, but it is absolutely critical. They build the specialized hardware, the heavy-duty cooling systems you need so these AI chips don't melt, and the complex power systems to feed these incredibly power-hungry data centers. Without this stuff, the whole AI revolution just stops.
And this isn't just a good story. The numbers are backing it up in a big way. The company's revenue isn't just growing, it's accelerating. Every single quarter, it's growing faster than the last. That acceleration is the key. It's a huge signal that they are capturing this demand surge right now, way before the rest of the market catches on.
Okay, let's switch gears completely for our second company. We're heading into biotech, and right up front, you gotta know this space is high risk, no question. But with that risk comes the chance for absolutely explosive returns, especially when you've got a massive catalyst right around the corner.
So what's the play? This is a company that's going after a type of disease that is a multi-billion-dollar market. Think about that. If their drug works, it's not just a small win. It could totally transform this tiny company into a huge player overnight, and more importantly, change the lives of so many patients. This timeline really lays out the whole thesis. Right now, today, analysts would call this the accumulation phase. That's where the smart money might be quietly building a position. But the whole thing hinges on 2026. That's when the Phase 2 trial results come out. If that data is good, you could see the stock's price just completely reset, almost instantly.
And this isn't just a shot in the dark. There are some clues that smart people are already getting interested. We're seeing big institutions quietly buying up shares. That's that accumulation we just talked about. But even better, insiders, the execs, the scientists who know this drug better than anyone, are buying stock with their own cash. That's a huge vote of confidence.
For our third and final company, we're jumping over to the energy sector. But again, we're not talking about the obvious stuff like solar panels or EV makers. We're looking at what might be the single biggest problem holding back the entire green energy shift.
So here's the problem that people often miss. We're getting really good at making green energy. The sun shines, the wind blows, we get power. Great. But the sun isn't always shining, and the wind isn't always blowing. The real bottleneck is storing all that energy so we can actually use it whenever we need it, day or night.
And that is exactly what this company does. They build the giant grid-scale batteries and backup systems that power companies desperately need to keep the lights on. They also make the smart tech that manages all that power and makes the whole grid work efficiently.
I mean, this chart tells the whole story. Just look at the demand for this stuff today. Now look at the projection for 2028. We are talking about demand tripling or more in just a couple of years. That is a massive wave of growth, and this company is sitting right in the middle of it.
And if that incredible market growth wasn't enough, there's another massive tailwind. Governments all over the world get it. They know energy storage is critical, so they are pumping billions and billions of dollars in grants and subsidies into this sector, which goes directly to helping companies like this one.
So, okay, we looked at an AI infrastructure company, a high-stakes biotech, and an energy storage player. 3 totally different businesses in 3 totally different industries. But there is one single, powerful idea that connects every single one of them.
And this is it. This is the whole reason to even look at small caps. It's the potential for what's called asymmetric gains. It just means your potential upside is way, way bigger than your potential downside. You know, for a giant company to double in value is a monumental event. But a small company, if their big catalyst hits, they can grow 10x, 20x, or even more.
So how do you find them? Well, it boils down to this simple 2-step approach. First, you have to find companies that are actually solid. They have real revenue, a good balance sheet, a product that people want. But that's not enough. Step 2 is the magic ingredient. You have to find a real specific catalyst on the horizon that could force the market to suddenly see the company in a whole new light.
And that's really the big idea you can take away from this. It's not just about these 3 companies. It's about learning how to spot that powerful combo of solid fundamentals and a game-changing catalyst. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. What's the next big catalyst on your radar? Thanks for checking out this explainer.